Hello. Jack Morrell and I often catch up on a weekend, and we thought today you might like to listen in. I'm Simon Ford, a writer and journalist, and Jack was for many years a detective investigating serious crimes, in particular murder. Now, Jack, we were talking about the actor Alec Baldwin and how he shot dead with a prop gun Halyna-Hutchins, his director of photography, on the set of a movie they were making. It's a terrible thing, and it's been all over the news, and it does look like a dreadful accident, and Alec Baldwin is filled with remorse. But I didn't understand, what exactly is a prop gun?
Well, my understanding, it's a genuine firearm. It's a lethal barreled weapon that discharges some form of bullet or missile. But as a prop, the lead bullets are replaced by, I think, paper wadding. So you get a bang and a flash, but no projectile flies out the muzzle. Now, that said, the blast itself can be dangerous. You know, there's hot gas under pressure in there. And if the wadding gets mixed up with the real thing, I mean, we don't know what's happened in this case, but if there's a mix-up, you've got a deadly weapon. Now, my memory of the Firearms Act, I think it was 1968, was that lethal includes also a reference that it's capable of causing death even at point-blank range, which is a metre or less or so, isn't it? So, you know, we're not talking about a lethal weapon can be one that just discharges that amount of pressure or a projectile at close range.
There was a case I seem to remember in the US a while ago with an actor who was horsing around on set, decided to shoot themselves in the head with one of these, and although it wasn't loaded, the pressure caused such brain damage that he died several days later. So obviously something to be treated with extreme caution on the set of a movie. And this was in the US, so all the legislation is different from how it is here. And fair to say that in Britain we have a different relationship with firearms from the rest of the world. To start with, British Bobbies, right, don't routinely carry guns. We were talking about that in the last podcast, which seems like an odd decision to a lot of folks who don't live here. Just remind me, Jack, what's the rationale for that?
Well, British policing is different, isn't it? They talk about it as policing by consent, which I think really means, it doesn't mean you consent to speaking to an officer on the street, but it's a common law relationship rather than policing by the state. So we've got this relaxed attitude, I suppose, over the years. But I guess it's becoming less distinct, you know, in this day and age. But at the moment, the British police are unarmed and approachable. The friendly Bobby is a precious thing, Simon.
What are the penalties in the UK for carrying a firearm?
I think that basic possession without authority, without a licence, I think it ranges from about 6 months to maybe up to 5 years, obviously depending on the reasons for being in possession of it. I mean, going back to this incident in New Mexico, theatrical performances in the UK are covered in that you don't need a license to have the firearm, but you do need to apply for authority so you can have the weapon in the theatrical or the television production that you're doing. But understandably, this doesn't apply to ammunition.
So is it possible to convert a replica gun or one of those plastic BB guns, an air pistol really, or a starting pistol, to fire real bullets with a chemical propellant in a cartridge case?
Yes, it happens, and it's extremely dangerous, not least for the person who's holding the weapon. I mean, only a fool would do it. I've seen young lads who've lost fingers, thumbs, and etc. Using a converted pistol and having what they thought might have been fun with it.
In August, we had in this country our first mass shooting for 11 years. And again, this is something maybe people outside the UK find difficult to grasp. It doesn't happen very often in this country. When this chap, Jake Davidson, killed his mother and 4 other people with a shotgun, and tragically, a little girl, Sophie Martin, she was just 3 years old, which really rams it home, doesn't it? She was one of the dead. Davidson's shotgun certificate had been revoked, though, and his gun had been confiscated. So, what was he doing in possession of a shotgun?
Well, yeah, I mean, this case, I think the latest I've heard was that there's some issues within the firearms department of that particular police force, Devon and Cornwall. So I suppose we don't want to sort of prejudge anything like that. But if we go back to shotgun certificates, which are a bit less than a lesser version of the firearms license for Section 1 firearms. So shotguns are a bit different, but they've got to be used for either sporting or shooting vermin, one of the two. So, and the key issue, I think, in any application is there needs to be good reasons to possess it, and that the holder of the certificate is not a danger to public safety. So, clearly something's gone badly wrong down there in Plymouth.
Looking back at previous mass shootings, as I said, infrequent, thank goodness, in the UK, there was Thomas Hamilton at Dunblane in 1996, Michael Ryan at Hungerford in 1987, and these are men who also managed to slip through that licensing net. So how would you improve the system to stop these appalling events like the Dunblane School massacre?
I think that our policing intelligence system is vastly improved from years gone by. I mean, we've also got things such as open source information on social media, so you can make, some discrete checks on your applicant to see what kind of individual they are. But I guess it all comes down to staffing, doesn't it, and to a more robust process. We've seen also with the probation service that their methods were found to be failing because they were reverting to telephone interviews with clients. And when you shortcut things, that's when things can go wrong.
And we see that with police investigations, well, any investigation in other walks of life too. When the money runs out, corners get cut, that's when bad things happen. We've been off at something of a tangent, which is how we come up with ideas for Psycho Killer, isn't it? And there's no implication, I should say, that what happened on that film set was anything other than a tragic accident. Our hearts really do go out to those involved. And I speak from experience because a close school friend of mine, a very gifted and sensitive young man, took his own life with a shotgun when we were both aged just 18. But to end on a brighter note, we are working on a couple of full-length Psycho Killer productions right now. Details coming soon. And you can learn more about us, who we are, what we do, watch videos, and read our blog at psycho-killer.co.
And we're also on Twitter and other social media platforms. On Twitter, we are at psychokillerpo.
And the website again, psycho-killer.co. So have a great week, and we'll see you again soon.